I'm Tim Marcus, Superintendent. It is a pleasure to be here tonight. We have with us some guests who have come to enjoy the evening. We have our school board, and I'll introduce them. Starting at this table, Ms. Nichols will do the invocation. Mr. Bill Rivenbark. Ms. Stephanie Adams. At this table, we have our board chair, Ms. Lisa Estep. Nelson Bollier. And Ms. Judy Justice. We have a couple of our major sponsors with us tonight, the folks from Hendrick Toyota. I hope you took a moment to check it out as you were coming in, and we'll introduce them shortly, as well as our folks from Wells Fargo. As I said, it's been an interesting year. It's almost a year ago I had a bicycle accident, and I actually missed this event last year being in the hospital, so I'm glad that I could come back. But I rolled into the year at a picnic at Alderman at Houston Moore and saw a tragedy there. But I saw teachers and what they did with students to overcome that tragedy. And then we rolled into a hurricane. And I can remember being at Trask, working that shelter, when one of our teachers rolled in because she had lost everything in her house. But she was back in the classroom 3 weeks later, when we went back to school, ready to teach those students. So tonight, you're representing not just yourselves, but you're representing those teachers in the buildings that you're coming from. So you're that school's teacher of the year, our district's teacher of the year, but you are representing some of the most amazing people that I've had the pleasure to work with. And that was driven home more and more this year as I went to schools and saw what our folks were dealing with. Personal tragedy at home did not keep you folks from coming in every day and working with our students. So please give yourself a hand for the amazing job you did this year. And at this time, I'd like to ask our board chair to come forward with a few remarks and introductions.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight at this very special occasion. When I was thinking about this evening, the word that kept popping into my mind was the word legacy. And all of you educators are here, and you administrators are here because the people in your buildings believe that you are leaving that positive legacy. You are a part of that continuum of change that is so important for our students. And that legacy will grow up and grow out as those students grow up and move on. And those teachers that you are also affecting will move on. And that's huge. It's so important. Outside of our families, or outside of their families, the students spend the majority of time in schools. So you are affecting them every single day. And there's really no more important job because you are the building block. I know you all have heard these words, but I want to say thank you. It's so meaningful, so important what you do day in and day out. And it's not often that we get you all in the same room to say thank you. But it's very important that we do. So again, welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to your significant others and family members for being a part of this evening. We also have some very special guests that are also here to say thank you and offer some wonderful gifts. And one of those sponsors is Wells Fargo. So at this time, I'd like to call Miss Cindy Spencer up to say a few words.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Wells Fargo, let me first say that I'm honored to be in attendance this evening. I know that your program says that Tyrell Foreman will be representing Wells Fargo tonight, but there's been a slight change of plan, so please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Cindy Spencer, and I'm a branch manager for Wells Fargo in the Wilmington District. I am also a product of the New Hanover County Public School System. As a Wells Fargo team member, you are probably anticipating me to rattle off some numbers and speak about how much money Wells Fargo donates to our schools. However, I wanted to share a more personal and hopefully more impactful few words. While preparing to speak to you all tonight, I thought about some of my most memorable and motivating teachers and principals. Several came to mind. There was my second grade teacher, Miss DeGaulle, at Bradley Creek Elementary, who taught me the importance of good handwriting. Thanks to her, I still get compliments on my penmanship today. Miss Connie Fredericks was my algebra teacher at Noble Middle School. She made algebra fun, and no offense to the math teachers in the room, but who really likes algebra? Miss Fredericks kept me engaged by using objects and demonstrations to reinforce what she was teaching. While at Noble, I was under the leadership of Miss Pansy Rumley and Mr. Samuel Howie, two of the greatest principals I ever had. Both were always there with a smile and an encouraging word whenever their students needed. After Noble, I went on to Laney High School, hence my outfit choice tonight. Go Bucks. It was at Laney that I met Miss Ruby Sutton. Miss Sutton is a legend in New Hanover County, so I'm sure some of you are quite familiar with her. Not only was Miss Sutton my body conditioning teacher, but she was also my cheerleading coach, so I spent a lot of time with her. I can honestly say, with the exception of my mother, no one else helped shape the woman that I am today like Ruby Sutton. She taught me to be a hard worker, an overachiever, to set goals for myself, to hold myself accountable, and most importantly, to respect people's time. After all, her favorite saying is, if you are on time, then you are late, and if you are 5 minutes early, then you are on time. I'd like to personally thank all the named teachers and principals for making me who I am today, empowering me, and for making school fun. It's due to my positive experience as a student in New Hanover County that I am here today. I am proud to say that I work for Wells Fargo, for a company that encourages community involvement, especially in our schools. Each year, Wells Fargo develops campaigns and allows its team members to go and speak to local schools. This year, our campaign is called Teach Kids to Save. Last week, 2 of my team members went to Anderson Elementary and presented to Miss Fullard's second grade class, where over 150 students were educated on wants versus needs and learned how to save their money. When my team members returned to the branch, they were overwhelmed by the impact they made on the students. One of the children in attendance was my service manager's 8-year-old son, Caden. This team member shared with me that Caden came home that night and was able to tell her what he needed and what he wanted to save his allowance for. He also asked, "When are you coming back to teach us more?" This is how I know that Wells Fargo is making a small impact on developing our children. In closing, the Wilmington Wells Fargo family has 109 team members, and the majority of us have children in a New Hanover County school, including myself. I have an 11-year-old daughter in the 6th grade at Holly Shelter Middle School. From our Wells Fargo family to you, I would like to say thank you for your hard work and dedication to our children. Your work does not go unnoticed. After all, you are shaping them to be who they will become. And who knows, one of your students could be standing up here speaking about the impact you had on them 20 years from now. Thank you. Dr. Markley asked me to introduce the other team members that are here with us tonight from Wells Fargo. We have Miss Courtney Barnes from the Mayfair branch. We have our district manager, Tyrell Foreman. We have James Pate from the Waterford branch in Leland, and we have Miss Kramer Vaughn with us from the Myrtle Grove branch. Thank you all again.
Now, I would like to bring forward our other sponsor tonight, and that's Mr. Jack Morgan. Jack has been a part of this for, I've been here most of those 9 years. Just to make some remarks and introduce his team, and he'll be coming back with a presentation a little bit later. So Jack, I'll turn the mic over to you.
Thank you very much. And first of all, congratulations on receiving the Superintendent Award. I mean, it's awesome. Congratulations to you. So us folks in the car business, we don't plan a lot. We fly by the seat of our pants, so that's just how we roll. So anyways, let me introduce Katie Pullman's our BDC director, and Katie also sits on the committee that goes through and reads your massive books. And I'll back up. 6 years ago, I raised my hand. I said, I'll do it. 1 year I did it. Okay, 1 year, and I'm like, hey, Katie, we have this cool project. So Katie has taken over that for Hendrick Toyota Wilmington, and we're thankful for it because I will tell you, it's a ton of work. When you have to go through and do that packet, it's a lot of work. So I know what you go through. Dawn Fermay, she's one of our 17-year sales professionals. She's just a pillar for us, and we love her to death. And Dawn has always taken care of our Teacher of the Year and delivering a car, so we're glad to bring her. And then Naomi Zavikian, who's been with us now 5 years, and just recognizing, and we love having all of these women in our workforce. So thank you guys very much. But more than anything, we're excited about what we get to do later. Okay, so awesome. Thank you, Gary.
At this time, I will ask our board members to please come up to the stage. And as they're coming up, if the selection committee would please stand and let us recognize the folks who had to, along with Katie, go through all of these applications and select our winners tonight. Okay, now they write this out. So for directions, we'll enter here, and then we'll cross the stage, shake hands, and head out the other side. From Alderman Elementary, Lee Siegel. And if the spouse or anybody who wants to take pictures, please come up to the stage. They're more than welcome to. Anderson Elementary, Jenna Parker. Ashley High School, Timothy Jarman. Bellamy Elementary School, Kemi Bayless. From Blair Elementary School, Buffy Constantine. From Bradley Creek Elementary School, Christine Sawyer. From the Career Readiness Academy at Mosley, James Figliola. From Carolina Beach Elementary School, Darlene Korwatch. From Castlehane Elementary, Kerrigan McLarney. From Coddington Elementary School, Diane Fowler. From College Park Elementary School, Catherine Chris. From College Road Early Childhood Center, Amby Hauer. From Eaton Elementary School, Jessica Ward. Forest Hills Elementary School, Elizabeth Lavoy. Freeman Elementary School of Engineering, Ashley Anderson. The International School at Gregory, Brittany Candela. From Hoggard High School, Charles Ugetta. From Holly Shelter Middle School, Janine Spencer. Holly Tree Elementary School, Lorraine Novak. From Howe Pre-K Center, Polly Whitesides. Isaac Bear, Early College High School, Morgan Mannion. From Laney High School, James Dale Williamson. From Murray Middle School, Amy Steelman. From Murrayville Elementary School, Shannon Voorhees. From Myrtle Grove Middle School, Kayla Sullivan. From New Hanover High School, Whitney Conrad. From Noble Middle School, Jessica Matthews. From Ogden Elementary School, Kara Abbott. From Parsley Elementary School, Jennifer Perone. From Pine Valley Elementary School, Catherine Madden. From Roland Grice Middle School, Stephanie Titzel. From Snipes Academy of Arts and Design, Krista Faison. From the Southeast Area Technical High School, Randolph Duncan. From Sunset Park Elementary School, Colby Garrison. From Trask Middle School, Sarah Bishton. From Mary C. Williams Elementary School, Andrea Hayes Britt. From Williston Middle School, Heather McGuire. From Winter Park Elementary School, Megan Deal. From Wrightsville Beach Elementary School, Danielle Hayes. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the Elementary Teacher of the Year, the District Teacher of the Year, and the Regional Teacher of the Year, Christy Howe.
Good evening, all. I'd like to begin by saying it has been such an honor to serve as the New Hanover County Schools Teacher of the Year. I'm truly grateful for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I can't begin to express how much I have learned and grown and been transformed by this experience. Thank you to all who have trusted me with this role and supported me on the journey. I am excited to share this privilege tonight with another educator. Before I do that, I'd like to take just a moment to congratulate all the teachers that are in this room this evening. Whether you will serve as the Teacher of the Year for your school, or whether you will be chosen to represent New Hanover County Schools at the district level, I hope you know what an amazing opportunity awaits you. I encourage you to seek out every opportunity and embrace every chance you have. I hope you will reach out, learn from, and lean on each other. This is an exceptional cohort of talented educators. I encourage you to work together to leverage your diverse talents, interests, strengths, and experiences. Together, you have the capacity to make a positive impact on our students, schools, and community. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our 2019-2020 New Hanover County Schools Elementary Educator of the Year. This teacher is a leader in the classroom and the school community. A few of their many roles include grade level chair, member of the school improvement team, and partnership teacher with UNCW. They describe their class as a positive, nurturing place, fueled by high expectations. Passionate about nurturing the whole child, this educator seeks to know and understand each student. As stated in the interview, quote, "I want to know where my students come from and celebrate it." Our Elementary Educator of the Year values social and emotional learning and purposefully incorporates affective activities into the daily classroom routine. This teacher strives to create classroom community where students are valued, encouraged to make a difference, and celebrated for their learning. This educator wants every child to know that they can make a difference. In the portfolio, they wrote, "Let us know, understand, and never forget that right now is our chance to mold the difference makers of the future." We are preparing them for lifelong success every time they enter our classrooms. And this teacher knows that she too has a capacity to make a difference. She sees each day in her classroom as a gift, and she strives to make every moment count. Our Elementary Educator of the Year invites us to think outside the classroom. And this involves 3 key elements. 1, knowing our students as people beyond the 4 walls of our classroom. 2, purposefully engaging our students with our community. And 3, creating opportunities for our students to connect with and better understand our world. I am honored to present to you the 2019-2020 New Hanover County Schools Elementary Educator of the Year from the International School at Gregory, Brittany Candela.
Oh, sure, yes, I'll shake. Good evening. I am shocked right now. I am humbled and honored to be here tonight, to be recognized as Elementary Teacher of the Year. But I could not have done this without the people that have shaped my journey to be a teacher, and so tonight I would like to recognize them. My parents, who supported me ever since I was a little girl, pretending to be a teacher, turning our living room into a playroom. I have to share this honor with them. In addition to my 2 sisters, who were forced to participate in Brittany's School of Education and learn their math facts at a very, very early age of 4 and 2 years old. I also have to share that with them. My husband, David, who is right there, has had unwavering support for me throughout my time at UNCW, when I was commuting an hour to and from work for 3 years. He supported my decision to take a pause from teaching to be a stay-home mom for 3 years, and then supported me again when I changed my mind and decided to go back to teaching. He's been there through every step of the way. He's also mastered what I like to call the teacher spouse smile and nod, because I come home with a lot of stories and a lot of things to say, and this is him. Smile and nod. And it helps get me through my week, so thank you. I have to share this with you. And my boys, Mason and Dominic, 3 and 5 years old, they have taught me resilience, determination, and a patience that I didn't know I had, and I'll have to share that with them. The Educator of the Year Committee, thank you so much for listening to my story and letting me reflect on my teaching practice. And New Hanover County Schools for hiring me and letting me do what I love to do. Thank you so much. And last, I would like to recognize my Gregory family, my principal, Miss Lampley, vice principal, Miss Smith, and Miss Ashley. They lead us, and I couldn't do it without them. Also, my colleagues, who I consider more my family than my coworkers. They're my saving grace. They inspire me and they motivate me, especially when I wake up thinking it's Friday and it's Wednesday. So I couldn't be up here if it wasn't for my friends that I work with. And last but not least, the little 7-year-olds that walk into my room every morning. That's the reason I do this, and Thank you, that's all I have to say.
Any way you want. I will ask Ms. Carrie Lobler to come forward to introduce our new middle school teacher of the year.
Good evening, everyone. I want to echo what Christy said. It really has been such a privilege to get to serve the district this year as the middle school teacher of the year. And it's my honor to be able to introduce the incredible educator who's been selected to represent the middle school teachers of New Hanover County Schools next year. There are so many incredible educators. We have a lot of the same thoughts. Not the whole time, I promise. But really, there are so many incredible educators that are representing our schools sitting in this room right now. I got to read a lot of portfolios, and it was absolutely inspiring. And it gave me so much excitement about the work that's going on in the classrooms across our district. One particular portfolio and interview stood out to the committee, beginning with the emphasis that this candidate places on the importance of authenticity and vulnerability as an educator. She's authentically herself with her students and is passionate about engaging them and meeting all of their needs. This teacher thrives on collaborating with other teachers in her school and beyond the walls of her school to refine her own practice and to inspire the innovation of others. She understands that her role, serving as a mentor for beginning teachers, is not only crucial in the development of their careers, but it's also important in her own. And she shared that the reciprocal partnership with her BTs is invaluable. With an open mind and a deep appreciation for the young energy that she mentors, she's often challenged in her own thinking and adjusts her practice to include her creative ideas. Her willingness to learn alongside her students is that vulnerability that leads her into the student-teacher relationships that we all know truly make a difference for the students in our schools. This educator is passionate about STEM education and the unique way that students can learn STEM in our coastal community. She has been recognized as a Keenan Fellow for the impact for teaching at the school where she works, and that happens to be the school that she attended as a middle school student. She strives daily to help her students find the whys in life by living her why authentically every day. It is my pleasure to introduce the 2019-2020 New Hanover County Schools Middle School Teacher of the Year, Ms. Stephanie Tissel.
So I didn't think I was gonna win, but I really wanted to win. I just want to say thank you to my colleagues so much for nominating me. I wanted to make them proud, and I hope that I am making them proud. I learn from them every single day through just small interactions, talking with people in the hallway. I learn from my UNCW students. I learn from my mentors. I think about when I was a first-year teacher and someone took me under their wing and they made me the teacher that I am today, and I'm so grateful for that. And then when I was doing my national boards, another teacher took me under her wing, and I learned so much from her, and I just have such an appreciation for those who came before me and those who are going to come after me, because we do have the most important profession in the world, and I love it. And my husband, who always supports me, and my 2 beautiful daughters. I am blessed beyond all measure. I'm grateful for the partnerships that I'm able to do with UNCW, and I love this community so much. Like they said, I went to school here, and I'm a very, very proud product of New Hanover County Schools. And thank you to my principal, of course, always supporting me when I went in there and I said, I want to do this. I want to be Teacher of the Year. And so thank you so much.
And now I'll ask Ms. Catherine Coleman to come forward to introduce our High School Teacher of the Year.
So those of you who saw me up here last year know that public speaking is not my forte. I didn't expect to be recognized and didn't prepare. But this year it's so important that I do honor to the High School Educator of the Year that I have notes. So here we go. On paper, it is clear that this high school educator is special, brilliant, caring, accomplished. Yet in person, this educator is surprisingly humble, expressing with gratitude that they were saved and transformed by the teachers they encountered as a student in North Carolina Public Schools. This teacher is popular with students who seek out a challenging course, yet the teacher reaches out to other students who are tentative and not as confident, and assures them that they can reap rewards from a curriculum that, in this teacher's words, should be rigorous but not elitist. Although a proponent of public education, they are concerned that there are still opportunity gaps that lead to learning gaps, that lead to an achievement gap. And they are actively working in and out of the classroom to change that outcome for our students. This teacher has an advanced degree, yet acknowledges that they are often learning from their students. Like when students taught him to use Twitter, a platform he now embraces as a way to engage his students and build a culture of learners. While he has a command presence in the classroom, he admits to wiping out on his skateboard in front of students and strangers and coming to school with bandages that show he is not afraid to fail. He seized the opportunity to earn a master's degree at Harvard, but kept his promise as a North Carolina teaching fellow to return to share his talents in North Carolina. Returning to teach at the high school he attended, he appreciates that the same teachers he says put up with him as a high school student have now honored him as his school's Teacher of the Year. He claims that they have seen his full arc, but having met him, heard what he is doing in and out of the classroom, and listened to his views about how we can change and improve education for all students, I think it is not an arc, but rather a trajectory. And his students, fellow educators, and our community will all benefit from his continued rise. I am honored to recognize Tim Jarman as New Hanover County's High School Educator of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. I am a planner. I didn't plan a speech, though. I'm also a talker, for those especially on the interview committee who so graciously listened to me talk ad nauseum, but I'm kind of at a loss of words here. So I'm going to continue on and use this as an opportunity to express my gratitude. First and foremost, very thankful for my family. My lovely wife, Savannah, has supported me throughout my entire teaching career. She and I actually went to high school here at Ashland High School. I wasn't cool enough to date her in high school, but eventually, after I secured a few degrees and proved myself reliable and competent, she decided maybe I was worthy. So thank you for that, Savannah. Honestly, I just want to take a minute to thank all the stakeholders here tonight in New Hampshire County Schools in general. You've made my educational experience as a student, many of you, special, significant, valuable, and enriching. My mentors are over here, my old administrators, my old I can't even begin to talk about. I feel like this is really a family, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, to represent it. And before I close, I would like to personally just thank Mr. McCarty for being the mentor and the leader that I needed and that my school needed. I appreciate you more than I can express in words. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And this is the greatest honor of my young adult life, so thank you. Appreciate it.
This time, I would ask Jack Morgan to come back up and join me. And he's coming up. Again, the selection committee, thank you. You had a difficult job, and I appreciate the work you did. The folks from the Human Resources Department who put this on, I want to thank you for all that work that you've done. And now we'll tell you which one of these three is our Teacher of the Year. Now, folks, he just said it was the honor of his life to be the high school Teacher of the Year. I'm going to ask Mr. German to come back up, and we'll top that honor. One more time. Go shake hands first. Good God. Give me a moment to think. Nice to see you. Jack, if he passes out. Yeah. You want us to pop one of yours? Good tail. Are you okay?
I'm great. Do I need to speak some more here?
It is entirely up to you. You're the Teacher of the Year. You can teach one.
Oh my goodness.
You've had time to prepare.
I've had time to prepare. Oh my goodness. Once again, thank you everybody. Now, this is the new greatest honor of my young adult life. Thank you. I have a captive audience. I'm not sure what necessarily happens next as far as the protocol to follow, but I do have something that I cannot stop thinking about. And There was a speech that I came across 3 or 4 years ago. Actually, a student gave it to me. And it was a speech that Jeff Bezos gave to the graduating class at Princeton, I think in 2010. And he asked them a series of questions. The question that resonated with me the most was, will you be a cynic or will you be a builder? Standing here today, I think about all the times in which I've been discouraged. I've thought about giving up. I've been overwhelmed. I've been stressed out. And I became blind by my own struggles. I walk into my classroom. I look at my students. I realize that they deal with much more. And that while there's value in my struggle, I should not be blinded by it. In saying that, my students give me infinite hope. This community has given me infinite hope. This recognition has given me infinite hope. And I'm left with the question, will I be a cynic or will I be a builder? And honestly, I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to represent New Hanover County Schools as Teacher of the Year and serve as a builder, hopefully providing access, equity, and opportunity for all of our students. Thank you.
Jack Morgan. All right. So, in 5 minutes, you've had two of the greatest moments of your life.
Young adult life.
Young adult life.
Yes, sir.
So there was something better before?
Yeah.
What was it?
Well, I have a 3-month-old son,
Oh, that's good.
so
That trumps.
that actually might be the getting married and having sons the best thing. As far as my career, these are the best things in my young adult life. Career. It's important that I go ahead and make that distinction now. I'm sorry, Savannah. I love you. You and Oscar, always number one.
See, I gave you that opportunity to recover.
Thank you, sir.
But on behalf of Hendrick Toyota Wilmington, welcome to our family. And I'm excited you get to drive home tonight in a new Prius. Did you expect this when you left home?
No, I did not expect this when I left home. Some days I'm teaching, I'm like, man, I'm just thankful that they pay me. I'm happy that they support me, and this is an amazing opportunity. And just thank you. I'm gonna get off the stage before I talk.
Congratulations.
Sometimes this job is fun. Catch your breath, because now we're going to talk about principals. Teachers, you've got the hardest job in the world. When you close that door, it's you and 30 students. But there's somebody down the hall who has to set the direction for the people in that building, and that's our principals, who are an amazing group of leaders. And I do not envy this election committee that had to work through this process. I'm going to ask our nominees to please stand, and we'll recognize our nominees. Mr. Glenn Locklear from J.C. Rowe. Dr. Maria Madison, College Park Elementary School. Dolores Overby, Riceboro Elementary School. And Dr. Margaret Rollinson from Trask Middle School. Then I will ask our reigning Principal of the Year, Ms. Krista Holland, to come forward and tell us who our winner is.
Good evening. It has indeed been a pleasure and an honor to represent our leaders in New Hanover County Schools this year as your Principal of the Year. I thank my colleagues for all of your hard work, And teachers, I congratulate and thank you for your hard work as well. The late Dr. Rita Pearson once said, "Every kid needs a champion." This school leader is indeed a champion for children. To be an advocate for children, one must also understand the importance of nurturing the growth and development of teachers. This leader has supported teachers as they pursued additional areas of certification to meet the needs of students. This leader believes in the mantra, "Every classroom, every day," acknowledging that the presence of an additional adult enhances teachers' abilities to deliver instruction. A teacher described this principle as, quote, "encouraging, supportive, a confidence builder, and one who listens to teachers' concerns and takes them into consideration when making decisions." Leading a school that serves children who have many challenges, our Principal of the Year recognizes that embracing families who may also have had negative school experiences is critical. This extraordinary leader understands that students and their families have to be met where they are. And that means, as this principal said, quote, "We have to be patient and give as many chances as needed. Far too often, we give up too soon, and we can't give up on our kids." This leader has worked to transition an alternative school program from a digitally based computer lab to one with face-to-face courses, student clubs, and behavioral incentives. Realizing that students who entered the school represented various sectors in our community, a uniform policy was developed to unite the students who have more commonalities than differences. Understanding that most students pass to this school are wrought with many challenging circumstances, this reflective leader has focused on ensuring that all staff who encounter children and families are trauma-informed and connect with students in meaningful ways. Our Principal of the Year sees education as the big difference maker, and we thank him for making a difference daily, for never giving up on our students. It is my honor to present to you the 2019-2020 New Hanover County Schools Principal of the Year, Mr. Glenn Locklear.
Okay, I'm shocked, to say the least. Two unfortunate things here. Number one, I'm not as good looking as Mr. Jarman. I realize that. We worked together for 5 years at Ashley, and I can tell you he's a rock star of a teacher. And I did prepare something because I saw this as an opportunity. First of all, I'd like to say thank you. I'm humbled and honored to have the opportunity to represent New Hanover County as Principal of the Year. As someone who admires and respects the work of so many of my colleagues, I feel extremely blessed to stand before you this evening. I'd like to take an opportunity to thank a few people. First and foremost, my Savior, Jesus Christ. I'd like to thank my parents, Thomas and Patricia Locklear, who I know are watching online because they thought this was the biggest deal in Scotland County. I'd like to thank my wife, Crystal, my beautiful wife, Crystal, for tolerating me for over 20 years. And my two awesome sons, Cohen, my Murray Falcon, and Caden, my awesome Admiral at Anderson. And I'd like to thank Dr. Markley and Dr. Holliday for the opportunity to serve as administrator at J.C. Rowe. And finally, I'd like to thank the dedicated staff at Rowe, because unless you've actually worked in an alternative setting, you can't begin to understand the challenges it presents on a daily basis. And although as I stand in front of you as Principal of the Year, I'm a former social studies teacher. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to teach you a little history lesson about education. Remember, I'm an alternative school principal, so obviously I've got to take a different approach. As a Lumbee Indian, a member of that tribe in southeastern North Carolina, I have firsthand knowledge of the importance of a quality education. You see, public education was first provided for the Indian children of Richmond, now Scotland County, in 1885. That's only 134 years ago. In my region, during the era of segregation, there were 3 schools, one for white students, one for African American students, and a third for Indian students. My ancestors attended a 1-room and then a 3-room schoolhouse, normally only until the 3rd or 4th grade, because then they were required to go to work in the fields to help feed their sharecropping families. Both of my grandfathers were illiterate due to only attending school sparingly until the age of 9 or 10. In fact, Oak Grove Indian School only educated students in grades 1 through 8. There were no high school diploma options for Indians in the county until 1954, which is only 65 years ago. A Miss Norma Lowry demanded that the Scotland County School Board provide a high school opportunity for her son in his home district. Due to its low enrollment numbers, Gibson High School, which was an all-white high school on the opposite side of the county, agreed to take Indian students to increase their enrollment numbers. Enter Thomas Locklear, my father. He was born in 1943 during the height of Southern segregation, the youngest of 8 children born to a sharecropping family who didn't have running water and electricity until the late 1950s. However, my dad had what we call it. Today we call it grit or resilience. Regardless of the name, he definitely had it. With the tremendous desire to obtain a high school degree, which none of his brothers or sisters had done before, he made a deal with his parents. He would work one day in the fields during growing season, and the next day he would attend school. However, he didn't just attend high school. He excelled. He played baseball and basketball and served as a senior class president and graduated as salutatorian in 1962. Needless to say, I never complained about homework or having to go to school around my house. Near the end of the school year, Mr. Kennedy, the school principal, called my dad into his office to discuss college. My dad recalls chuckling at the thought. No way did he have the means to attend college. But Mr. Kennedy went above and beyond. He made arrangements for Thomas to attend then Pembroke State College tuition-free after the first semester. However, my dad felt a strong sense of obligation to provide for his aging parents who were still working as sharecroppers in their early 60s. My father overheard his mother saying she did not know how they would survive if he went to college. You see, his parents had already made great sacrifices for him to attend high school. Giving up his labor was a tremendous hardship for them in the sharecropping economy. This system was set up for those that were in it to remain in it for life. It was a vicious cycle that perpetuated itself. It wasn't that my grandmother was selfish or nearsighted. At her age and in her financial state, she was simply trying to survive. So, my father, he never attended college. And by 1964, he was married to my 16-year-old mother with a child. Fortunately, the story doesn't end there. My father gained one of those now extinct union jobs with Bell South, where he worked for 37 years. He retired nearly 20 years ago on a salary higher than our legislators tout as the average salary of our state's teachers in 2019. Yes, you heard me correctly. Let that sink in for a moment. But fast forward to 1990. I was now offered the opportunities my father once dreamed of as a young man. With the support of my parents, along with teachers like Spencer Willard, who was my AP U.S. history teacher, who didn't care which side of the tracks you were from, and Miss Pate, my 90-pound junior English teacher, who taught me that I could do more with my life than I thought was possible, and Don Johnson, yes, my high school football coach in the 1980s, name really was Don Johnson, okay, opened so many doors for me. I found myself graduating from high school and attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, graduated in 1994. I became the first of 40 grandchildren on my father's side of the family to graduate college. So why do I share this story? Well, there is so much to glean from it. Much that is very relevant to what we see today. But most importantly, it's the story of public education. Public education opens doors for all races, colors, creeds, nationalities, and genders. Through public education, any child can become what they want to be. 2 generations ago, my family was uneducated and illiterate. Today, I have a master's degree. This is a type of opportunity only public education provides in our country. It's also the story of a village, because it does in fact take a village to educate a child. I don't stand here today without Miss Norma Lowry, without my parents, my teachers, and so many more. In public education, we all matter. Teachers, coaches, counselors, administrators, secretaries, custodians, cafeteria workers, and bus drivers. We all contribute to the success of each student. This story also reminds us that there's much more work to be done. There are still too many Thomas Locklears out there. Those who have the ability, but the totality of life circumstances are holding them back. We must continue to provide opportunities that the students from the bleakest of situations can flourish and reach their full potential in life. We must remind ourselves of why we do what we do every day. We change lives, we open doors, we support, we counsel, we discipline, we love. We make a difference. Although we have our detractors, what we do matters and it works. We must continue our fight for all children to succeed. Thank you.
Wow. 2 amazing stories. And there's a story at every table. And that's what teachers do. Teachers create stories for students. And you do that every day. I want to thank our board members for being here tonight. I want to thank Wells Fargo for their generous contribution to our folks. To the folks at Hendrick Toyota, Jack, your folks have been amazing. Thank our cafeteria folks in the back. They provided our meal tonight. Great job. Our HR department, Dr. Welmers, Robin Myers, and all the secretaries and other folks who have put this together. You guys did an amazing job tonight. Thank you. For all of our winners, don't leave. I think there's a round of pictures that have to happen after this, so please stay. Ms. Eastep, any final comments from the board? All right. Folks, thank you very much for a truly memorable evening, and have a safe drive home.